Okay, it is 12:16 on Sunday, and we are back for another official CALEXIT conference with our distinguished panel of experts and people. Before we get to everybody, I'd like to take a moment to show everybody a bit of our progress. Just for a bit of visual, I'm gonna put up a share here. That is, if you look at the red dots, our version of push pins is our current chapter location. I'm being told that that's not up to date. We actually have 3, maybe 4 more to add to that. So we are beginning to spread. Look, it's like, come on, Northern California, catch up. Southern California's get pretty boxed in already, but we're starting to look good, and everyone's starting to check in. I'll be sending this out to everybody in the email thread probably later today. Hopefully the updated version. Any questions?
Yeah, I like your bear claw there, Hal.
Gotta put a little shout out there to the Grizzlies, right?
Yeah. And what do we got to do to get a Nevada City up there?
I will. If the city's not named, I will gladly add it on. I have no problem with absolutely filling this little piece of art with everything.
I think I could qualify for a regional position, right? I see.
This one I just want to do for chapters. I've got another map going for regionals and another for districts and another one for regionals.
Right.
This one, it's like,
you should be considered a chapter, right? Me and Nick, we're on these calls all the time, right?
I think we might be able to arrange something there.
Yeah, for the right payment. Say, has anyone gotten hold of Juan Favela lately? Because he lives up by Ventura, last I heard.
Danny and Shankar were talking to him. I'll check in and make sure that he's represented. If he's ready to go, I'm ready to add that red dot.
Yeah, for sure.
I am all about adding red dots to this map.
You also have Marin County.
We don't have what?
Marin.
Okay, I'm not. Like I said, I can't really put a county dot. That's why I'm putting town dots on the chapters, cities and towns.
Can you guys hear me?
Counties and Shankar. Counties and districts. Counties and districts will be on the next map.
Well, Jason is near the city of. I'm drawing a blank. Jason, what's the big city there? San Rafael.
San Rafael.
Yes. So
yes.
You could add San Rafael to the map. You could add Nevada City to the map. That's John. San Rafael's Jason. Also, you and Shankar have emails from 2 people who reached out to us from Stockton and Del Norte County. So that's 4 more chapters that you could add onto the map.
Okay, so hang on 1 second.
That is correct.
Yeah, if you look on the map and you notice where San Bernardino is, you can see why I'm so eager to hand it over to the Riverside person. A little closer, a lot closer than I am at this point.
There is someone in Riverside, Matt.
Actually, I have you at the moment listed as Palm Springs. If that's not correct, that will.
No, that's where I'm at.
Right.
I'm saying, if you look on the relative distance to San Bernardino from Riverside and from Palm Springs, you can see why I'm so eager to hand San Bernardino over to the Riverside person. It's right up the road. It's right up the road.
At the moment, I'll call it Riverside chapter, and hopefully we'll get a new San Bernardino person soon. Okay, so we have. I'm adding Nevada City. Who else am I adding? I have Del Norte.
Stockton.
Man, there's quite a.
Del Norte, Berkeley, Stockton, Shankar. Do you have a list of these that you can shoot me to add on?
Yes, I do.
I would love to.
I do have a list.
You should
I do have a list.
Updated version of this to put into the kind of website.
Add Oakland too. We got a person there that's going to be involved.
Have you? Okay. Have they contacted Shankar yet?
No.
Okay, that's kind of what we need.
No.
I don't have a coming soon map. I want to have some breakdown. So anyway,
Just have them talk to me, and then they're good to go.
push pins on a map. We're looking pretty good, I think.
I just emailed you. I just texted in the 4 additional chapters you could add. It's in the chat. I know Shankar has.
For the rest of my housekeeping on this, I have a couple other pieces coming up. One is additions to the chapter handbook, which was requested by the Independent California Board of Directors to include those sections of the bylaws for Independent California that refer to, or that would refer to requirements to maintain our 501c4. Those updates will be coming out this week. Like I said, it's one of those one of the things that we probably should avoid is having the chapters basically affect our status as a non-for-profit. That's it for my report. At this point, I'll turn over to Shankar to let him finish if he's got anything to say.
Yes, sir. Hal, actually, I see I have one more question for you. How is that bitchin' ass website coming along? How are we, from what I saw, man, I can't wait to see it up and at 'em, dude. How's that? When's like a tentative launch or tentative day that goes live?
Adrian and I are waiting for a couple of links that I need to add to that website. We should probably talk on that offline, but we're on track. We are on track.
Okay, so as far as the chapters, yeah, I didn't want to bother Hal too much because I know he's working on the site, and I don't think anybody here has seen it, but I got a preview of it, and it is epic. It is an epic, phenomenal site. I think it blows every other independent site. All the other groups are going to be drooling over this one, so I can't wait for it to launch. It's kind of bittersweet. I wish it was out already, because it's the crux of what's kind of just like putting a hand on your chest, kind of, and kind of like telling you to wait to go forward. So, but when that site drops, I know it's going to be well worth it. As far as and that's why with the chapters, I'm trying to just taking it slower, and I'm making note of everybody, trying to get a hold of everybody. All they have to do is just talk to me once, and that they're officially a chapter. But as I recruit these chapters, I want something to give them. So Jason is going to get me. Jason's working with me on getting the petitions going. I do need to request funds for that. But as far as the rest of the petitions go, again, it goes back to the site. I need the site up so I can sell some merch and market that as well. But all's good to go. I think we're going to get about maybe 2,000 or 2,500 petitions here. So we'll mail off each chapter about, I don't know, 50, and a training video, and hopefully some shirts, and a good package. Other than that, dude, I think everybody here has been kind of stunned on what the fuck's been happening this whole entire week with this flipping president, bro. Because that's all I've been consumed with, and I'm sure that's all you have been. And if any of you are concerned, you should be, because this guy is not going to leave the office, and that is going to open it up right up to us. And this petition is going to come out. So the way I'm looking at it right now is that in 2 weeks he'll be dead or he'll be alive. But in 2 weeks, I hope we have all our ducks lined up, because I have a feeling he's not going to go anywhere. Well, after November 5th, at least, he's not going to go anywhere, and people will be in California will be looking for a way out of the United States. So hopefully we have our shit up and going by November 5th or about November 10th, I would say, because I would imagine it's going to go to, they're going to wait to count all those mail-ins, and then it's going to head up in court. But Trump has already said, he is not going to give up the presidency. He's already said that. I don't know how much more clear he can make it. I don't know. And again, the press isn't doing crap about it. They're blaming Democrats or whatnot. Who knows? But he said it, so get ready. It's about to happen. It's about to happen unless he dies. So
What even matter then?
If he dies, I mean, it still shows what a clusterfuck the United States is, and we still move forward anyways. But we're not so crunched for time if he dies. But if he doesn't die, we're gonna be crunched. So God bless COVID. That's all I got.
Okay, thank you, Shankar. Any questions on basically on the IC report? If not, we will move along. We'll move along to markets.
Next person up is Hannah Miyamoto, talking about the CalPride website and selling products for 5 minutes. I'll be timing it. Hannah, please tell us about the store, the one-stop shop for all your CalExit needs.
Okay, everybody.
Nice.
Yeah, it's called, I'm putting it in, it's called MyCalPride.com. The site's actually been up for a long time, but I've been polishing it up, and making it set up so that it's so that I can basically take your order, slap a label, take your order, put it in an envelope, slap a label on it, take it to the mailbox. It's on its way, and we've got a tracking number even for the whole process. System is completely set up on Stripe, and when you click on it, the only reason why you won't think it's like, man, the most official site in the world is simply because I only got one product, which is at this time buttons. But talking to Marcus, I think we're going to put petitions on next. But eventually the idea is to, to have all the merchandise we can find so that it looks more like a California Pride site. And then we'll put and then there's a campaign link to connect to it. And if you actually look at the buttons, by the way, I encourage you to check it out because, well, one thing, because you can put your email list, you can put your email address and get on our mailing list because we're going to, market, right? And we'd love to have all of your emails right away.
Hannah, I'll give you a link to our store and you can take a look at the products we got and anything you like. Please link it up to your site. I've got probably over a dozen products. So
cool. Yeah, well, we'll work out a deal. Like I said, same thing. If I'm thinking for buttons and stuff, I'm thinking of having packages of like 100, so that you can buy masses of them and make and distribute them at your tables and stuff, collecting donations and that sort of thing. It's legal to collect donations all the time, especially for C3, C4 activities. Just put a sign that says donation, and people will always give more money than it's worth, anyways. Yeah, all I'm saying is site's up, and I've been working really hard to get it going. I'd love to have your email so that you get subscribed, because we're gonna have a newsletter, just a standard, just like all the other businesses that you're probably connected up to. We're using MailChimp, we're using Stripe, we're using WooCommerce, using all the basic things. This looks very much like a regular website because I wanted it to be that way. I mean, a common website. One thing I want to say, though, the reason why it's really important is I've heard some people on Facebook, names will need not to be mentioned, who have expressed some kind of discontent, like, boy, why isn't this movement going along? And you're feeling like what Shankar said, right? Everybody's watching the news. I mean, remember when it was out for hours and hours and hours. I know MSNBC totally like stopped moving, right? They were like canceled all the commercials, and they were doing continuing coverage because of Donald Trump before he finally got to the hospital. Remember that? If you didn't see it, it was amazing to me because it's like, he's sick. I don't, why do we have, wall-to-wall coverage for this? But people are like saying, why aren't people talking about California independence? And I think it's just important, and I'm going to hand it over to Marcus now to tell you guys, hey, I think that the real answer is we should really look at California Pride as a campaign to be part and parcel of the petition drive. It should be like task
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, Shankar, for shouting out. Yeah, task number 2, right? Because, Mark, it's really funny. I mean, signing your name on a piece of paper doesn't cost any money at all. But people treat that as a much bigger deal, it seems like, than actually just paying for some merchandise, some cheap merchandise, and, you know, whether it's a button or a sticker for their car or a t-shirt or whatever. And they take it as like really small stuff. So the idea will be that, you know, they look down at this and start asking themselves questions like, you know, why am I wearing a California flag t-shirt, or, you know what I mean? Like, what does this California Republic really mean? Why, you know, and things like that. I feel that's what was really the step forward. So that basically when anything, if an emergency should strike, you know, people will say, yeah, because actually, I mean, we only have to look at, I'm about to shut up here, but, you know, look at that. We don't have to look at like the Twitter and stuff, right? We see constantly people are saying, well, I guess it's time, or maybe it's time, or it's getting close to that time. And that's what we just need to get more and more people, you know, identifying as, who are Californians, identify as Californians. So Marcus, tell us what you observed when you up in your neck of the woods, rather than, you know, Bleeding Heart Liberal San Diego.
Hey, I'll be passing you, Marcus. I'm on my way up north right now because we're a little short on chapters up there, but yeah, I'll be passing you, Marcus. I'll be there all week this week, folks, just FYI. I mean, in fact, I have to cut out of this meeting in a bit. Sorry, Marcus,
Shankar,
go ahead.
Yeah, Shankar, please talk to Jason up there and get together. I'll buy you guys lunch. If you want, stop by in Fresno anytime. I'll smoke you out. So we got 1 minute left for the subject with Hannah, just to back up what she's saying. So we need a bunch of stores. Cal Pride is here. Everybody's wearing California gear. Hannah's right, but also I saw Joe Payne talk about this week. It's easier to say, California, California, California. You want gear? Yeah. And then they're buying gear. Look at your buttons. Now you have rapport. Now you have a connection. Then you bring up the initiative versus, hey, are you ready to secede? Whoa. I just said, do you love California? Do you want to wear a button? Wear gear? Now I'm talking to them. Now they're in a discussion. The moment someone likes something with you, subconsciously our brains are programmed to feel commonality and friendship with them. So that's basic psychology, folks. And then after you're like, hey, I love California, you love California, look at these flip-flops, look at this poster, look at this shirt. Then you bring up the, well, since you love California, did you hear about CALEXIT? Yeah, I heard a little bit about it. Way easier sell. It's called building rapport and then turning to the sale. So totally back that as a strategy. Everybody could do that. I'm not saying Hannah's store is the only one there. I fully support Hannah's store. I think it's great to have a one-stop shop, but IC's coming up with a store. Great. If you want to come up with a store, get out there. Russell Simmons' principle. Don't think people are only buying one type of hip hop, West Coast or East Coast. They're buying hip hop. You go back to the 1990s, rappers were fighting with each other going, you can't back East Coast hip hop, West Coast. No, you can't back West Coast. It's Guess what? Hip hop's bigger than all those people were imagining it would be at the time. So you think you got a good idea for a store? Get going. Launch the store. There's no limit to Cal Pride. And the more stores selling Cali gear, the more people think now's the time to be California proud. So Cali, yeah, exactly. West side right here. This means California. That's what that means. There wasn't no rappers coming out of Seattle, California. So Cal Pride, launch the store, definitely the way to do it. Get out there, good introduction to have a table or just talk to people about, look at my pin, look at my button. It's awesome. I will say this though, I totally agreed with having a one-stop shop. I said though that I was only okay with petitions being sold on the Cal Pride site if it said specifically, go to the IC site for free petitions. That was the one condition that I made to back that. Just have to mention it because it was mentioned out there. I'll stop and let's go to the next topic, which is
Can I just,
Hal, with your
can
permission.
I just simply, I just want to make one more point. One point is that, so guys, if you want to get out there and table, a lot of people have been talking about where do we table, right? Public, public property and all the rest. And I'm suggesting that perhaps one of the things you could do is, yeah, if you, I hate to be Amway or something, but to set up something like go out there to your local county swap meet and somebody is like $5 for a table. You can sit out there, people will come by, and you're like selling California gear. And by the way, there's this petition over here on the side. That might be an effective way to reach out to people, and not have to explain yourself to police officers or anything like, what are you doing here, kind of conversation you want to avoid. So peace out. Thanks loads. We're moving.
Hal, let's go to the next guest, John Pomeroy and Nick Whiterabbit for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Hannah.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Nick Whiterabbit and I here on Nation on Land. Want to start by saying amazing morning from San Francisco Chronicle. Thank you, Marcus, so much for sharing that article. It's so deeply relevant into so many things that Nick and I are experiencing right now in Nevada City. If y'all haven't seen it, I highly recommend that you read it. Lots of good talking points that segue right into why I wanted a minute on the agenda today. And the next listening roundtable is on the 9th. It's from 8 till 12. I don't know when we're going to be live streaming, so I'm just going to have the audio will be playing from my pocket or from my bag or whatever. So y'all can listen in at any point. The consortium of tribes that have taken over Return California, all we're doing now is providing support for them. So they're hosting this consortium in Chico, and Marcus has all the details for that also. Steve Walensky from Calaveras County, talking about traditional ecological knowledge and returning land. California independence is happening in the midst of us doing all the things that we're doing right now. California independence is happening. Thousands, tens of thousands actually at this point of acres are being returned to the tribes, and they're managing them, and people are listening to them. There's so much happening in every community, and we're all disconnected from it. So that's the point of Return California, bringing it to people's attention, showing them that we're going the legal route. We're going after signatures. We're trying to qualify for a ballot. We're trying to be democratic. We're trying to remain in the system the way that it's been built. But that hasn't worked. The film hasn't worked. How long must we wait? Right? So this is the thing that's happening in the background. Really appreciate whoever's crinkling something in their mic. That's fun. Anyway, I'm done, and we're gonna check out.
Okay, I guess we lost John. He'll be back this Friday at about 9 or 10 in the morning is the 4th listening session. It's being held by Steve something. The interesting thing here is that guy is actually running a group where he has coordination with the federal government, Bureau of Land Management, local people, the local city, and the local indigenous. And he actually got some plot of land that they're partnering with the indigenous. So there's no theory. The guy's actually doing it. He was in the news doing it. So you have somebody that's actually working with the tribes in cooperation with the federal government to sort of have the indigenous manage the land, which is part of the idea of Return California. This Friday, 9, I'll send out some stuff. I do need to make a note though. Not everyone in the movement endorses Return California or returning federal land. You do not have to endorse this idea to be part of CALEXIT. You do not have to endorse this idea to be part of CALEXIT. You do not have to endorse this idea to be part of CALEXIT. You don't have to endorse this idea to be part of CALEXIT. Some of us like this idea. Okay, doesn't mean you have to. I love this idea, but I want to make it clear. If anybody's telling you you have to back this to be CalExit, that is not true. So I personally love this. Many of us do. I think the way to encourage people is to debate and discuss, not cajole and disregard. So you do not have to back this. Some of us do, and that's where it's at. And I need to make sure that's very clear. I'll stop there. Hal, back to you, brother.
Okay. Yeah, when John comes back, I don't know if he's finished with his statement, but when he comes back, I will of course allow more time. Next up we have Matt. Matt, if you're ready to unmute yourself, if you're ready to speak.
Thank you. Greetings from Cahuilla Territory, Agua Caliente Reservation, and the rest of Palm Springs and Cathedral City. And things are going well. I got 10 copies of the petition out that I hang the rosette on the back of the clipboards, and I'm getting signatures from locals, which would be Riverside County. I got a signature from San Francisco County, visitor, a signature or two from Los Angeles County, visitor, a signature from somebody in San Diego County, who I had to take that with him so he could get a hold of Hannah, and hopefully he will. One would hope. But yeah, I'm getting all different counties on this. Just operating in Palm Springs. An interesting note, the passengers that do sign and do express an interest tend to be younger than the ones who don't, and have pretty strong sentimental ties to the U.S. The younger people are ready to go. The younger people are ready to get, and to what what has happened with Trump's illness doesn't seem to have changed that. There's a place I want to set up a table, which is absolutely public property because it's in the middle of the street. They blocked off a couple blocks of Palm Canyon Road, and so I'm looking at dealing with parking downtown, and also, of course, the fact we're in the middle of the desert, when would be a good time to set this up to where I won't melt into pavement. Okay. I'm looking at setting up there. I think I'll do pretty well. Parenthetical note, some people have been talking about, well, is Trump going to survive? Well, Boris Johnson survived, and Jair Bolsonaro survived. They both got it. They were both contemptuous of it, and they both need it. So we shall see. But no, as far as operations out here, I tried to get a hold of the Agua Caliente Cahuilla. First, I went down to their office, big sign, closed to the public, closed to members until further notice. Well, okay, so much for that. So I called them on the phone because I couldn't find a web presence. So I called them on the telephone, bling, bling, and left a message letting them know what I'm up to. And it would mean a lot if it was okay with them, or at least get back in touch. Well, they haven't said no. They do know about it. They haven't said no. That's a good thing. So the contact information that they leave is a physical address to snail mail or a telephone you can call. I can't find any web presence. I'm not saying they don't have one, and they certainly got a beautiful website. As far as online contact info, I haven't found it yet. Give me, wish me luck, because then I can send them, refer them to their stuff. Return California, trying to see if any of them are interested in participating in a listening roundtable, blah, blah. I'll go ahead and let them know about it. But like I say, the only contact info I've got on them for the moment is a telephone and a snail mail. So I got work to do. But no, as far as circulating the petitions, I go in great guns. I got 2 clipboards, one for Riverside, one for non-Riverside County.
Hey, Matt.
Yeah.
Hey, if you could let me know the address and the times that you're going to be out there tabling with the petition, I will post it up on the on our Facebook and Instagram to let everybody know that in the area that you're out there doing that.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I need to fix the time first. I'm beginning
Just
to
let me,
think that I should try to do it in the evening when the heat isn't so punishing. And
just
the
let me know,
market
bro.
better. Oh, okay. You'll be the second to know.
Cool.
So that's what's going on out here.
Thank you, Matt. Questions for Matt?
Good for him.
Yeah, I will take that as a no. Matt, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Marcus, you're on. We'll need to unmute.
Okay, just checking the list. Nobody sent me any additional agenda items. So this will be the last part of the agenda, and then it'll go back to Hal and we'll wrap it up from there. Both of us are trying to leave at 1, at least the recorded portion. So going on the media.
Excuse me, is Jason going to finish talking about the California State Guard?
I was not planning on giving a formal presentation today. I just included that for you at the beginning earlier, just to let you know that I found most of it.
There will be time after the recording if you want to continue the conversation briefly.
Okay.
Yeah, this is just the recorded portion. Then Hal's got to go and I got to go, but you guys can free chat all you want. Okay. Talking about media, so in the news today, the New Caledonia, which is a breakaway country that was legally and peacefully trying to achieve secession from a European country, did not qualify for their initiative by 2%. So New Caledonia is an island in the Pacific. They want to be free from France. France has said, yeah, you know, we kind of took you over by military force and imprisoned all your people and shot all your minorities. So you have the right to have a vote for independence. Hint, hint. So that happened recently. They lost the vote by about 2%. But the newspaper was saying a simple majority is all that's required for them to achieve international recognition as a new nation. A simple majority, 51%, is all that's required for them to achieve international recognition. Hint. That was this week. International lawyers looking at that and say they're 2% away from pulling it off. Not 70%, 51, maybe 52. Brexit also passed by 51%. So there seems to be an international precedent of barely over majority qualifies for the most recent peaceful legal examples. I also want to point out that the Caledonians, this was their 3rd time trying. And when they heard the news they didn't qualify, guess what they did? They said, we're going to file another one next year. So we're going for the 4th one. Didn't mean nothing to them. So they saw it as we got close. Let's keep going. That's kind of a key thing for all of us to pay attention to. That's New Caledonia. The other thing is that I went out and did some tabling.
So I don't know what's, okay.
I went out and did some tabling this week. People are ready to talk. They are ready to interact. They want to get out there. They're watching politics. They're ready to have their opinion heard. So now's the time. And yes, Fresno's somewhat conservative. We're majority liberal now, but just barely. There were liberals there too. And they were just as eager to talk politics with someone. So people are ready to talk politics, folks. They are ready to meet strangers and talk about politics and issue their opinions. So time's ripe. Really good right now. And that's partly because of the political season. The other half is that while everybody's primed to talk about CalExit and engage in this discussion, they're also super turned into whatever happens with the political scene. So it's good because people are really ready to talk about CalExit. It's also a problem because Trump says something, that's all they're thinking about for the next 2 days. Anything happens, they don't, you know, count. Like I've lost a couple CalExit articles because they were ready to go, and then something happened that day, and we got bumped. So I lost an article in Patch Dispatch because We did the interview. I sent over the materials. The reporter, the editor was ready to publish it. And then Ginsburg passed away. That was the story for the next week. So by the time they were ready to return, it wasn't as relevant. So on the one hand, it's the perfect time because people are ready to talk about what we're talking about, the regular public. On the other hand, it's tough because anything happens at all, you're done for the next 2 days, media cycle. Right now, Trump said he has coronavirus. We had the money ready for a mass email and mass publicity campaign about get ready for the petition and IC and the website. We're at Yes California going to wait 10 days. So starting today, we're waiting about 9 days. We're going to wait and see what happens. We hope that Trump gets better and gets right back to it because that's the best angle for us. So for 10 days, we're waiting to see where it goes. Our options are he dies, which I don't want. The other one is he gets better and goes right back to it and maybe starts saying, hey, coronavirus is nothing. Let's super massively reopen the economy and see, I got over it, which would really piss off liberals and super maximally help our cause. So this could be the best news ever for us because the guy may turn into Superman. If you think Trump's been offensive on coronavirus, you may have seen nothing yet. Maybe, don't know. We're not going to know for about 10 days. The other thing is that he gets super sick and yeah, he kind of comes out like Boris Johnson and that's hard for me to predict what the angle is. I'm not sure. I'd have to pay attention. The other thing is that he passes. We'll go from there. So we're waiting a few days. However, Shankar and Hal, you have an email this morning from your 5th media interview. This person reached out to us, did an interview with him 3.5 years ago, had no contact with him. He suddenly says, I'm hearing all about you guys. He's in Indiana. So someone in the Midwest is going, I'm hearing all about you guys. Can I get an interview? So Shankar, Hal, please respond to that. Shankar also completed his 4th interview with Stark Live. He did great. You almost might not recognize Shankar on that interview he just did because he comes across like Hal, very reasonable. And they're talking about radical things. And Shankar's just like, yes, but when you consider X, Y, and Z, I was like, what'd you do with Shankar? Who is this guy? So great job. Everybody's getting better. They got their 4th one in, the 5th one's coming. And the other thing is I haven't even tried for the big media. So don't assume that what you have is all there is. I'm not reaching out for the big media till the website's up with the chapter map and all the guidebooks and stuff. That's not a pressure. That's not a critique on anybody. I'm simply letting you all know 2nd round is coming. So we haven't finished this thing. And also in November, folks, if Trump somehow lives, he's going to contest the election. Guaranteed. That's chaos. Yeah. People see chaos, they come running to CALEXIT. Even if Biden eventually wins, if it's not a clear, overwhelming, and I mean overwhelming Biden win, and they're like, well, Biden won 55, that's too close. It's got to be like 65, or you're going to have Trump lovers going, oh, he didn't really win, he rigged it with the mail vote, et cetera. So any of that happens, short of a 65% Biden win, there's going to be calamity, and people are going to run to CALEXIT. Remember when the federal government couldn't handle coronavirus response? We had all sorts of people jumping. They were going, they're just not a functional government. So any sort of discrepancy, anything less than a totally clear election, count on members, big time. And that's, what if Trump wins? It's over. I'm talking about if he doesn't win. If it's less than a landslide election, whew. Also, if there's anything like, it looks like Trump won because people voted physically, but they didn't do the mail-in ballots, and there's some sort of discrepancy that goes on for a few weeks, CALEXIT. Goes to the Supreme Court, CALEXIT. So there's so many opportunities for winning here. Because I've talked to y'all, no one thinks this is going to be neat and simple. No one. None of you have told me that. So any sort of calamity, let me finish, Professor, and then I'll address the questions. Any sort of calamity, we win. Count on big numbers, unless Trump dies. However, as Jason pointed out to me, then you get Mike Pence. Mike Pence actively believes it's okay to force gay people to undergo conversion. Folks, we have a ton of LGBTQ in California. How well you think that's going to sound? Secondly, Mike Pence is a little crazy. Don't assume that he's reasonable just because he's standing next to the slack-jawed crazy man. He's also crazy. Look him up. He very well may say, well, China caused the coronavirus. The president's dead. That's an act of war. Now we must attack China. And he would have some legal basis to make that sort of claim. That goes off, CALEXIT's right back as if Trump won. So there's only one opportunity for us to lose, and that's Biden overwhelmingly beats Trump. All the Trumpers concede. They step down and they go, we lost fair and square, and we accede to that. That's the only way. Anything other than that, plan on massive growth. Finally, I'll leave it at the Irish ambassador to America on Thursday talked about CalExit with the Bay Area group. So the Bay Area Economic Council is the top billionaires of Silicon Valley. Top billionaires Silicon Valley, called the Bay Area Economic Council. Their regional director had a conversation with the Irish ambassador, and he talked about CalExit, postulated it. They didn't shut it down. Now, the Irish ambassador didn't actually endorse it, but why did he bring it up? And why did he talk about it for 2 minutes? And why did he postulate on it? Secondly, Jim Wunderman is of the Bay Area Economic Council. 2 months ago, the president of the Bay Area Economic Council spent an hour talking about our initiative with us. Now, another high-ranking member of the Bay Area Economic Council is engaged in a discussion on CalExit. We're talking about we win with grassroots activity, letting people know we're out here, but then somebody with money and angel donors, the technical term, will come and buy the signature gathering. Bay Area Economic Council has millionaires and billionaires. They've had 2 meetings in the last 2.5 months where they've talked about CalExit. Hint, Shervin Pishvar, who was the guy that was going to fund CalExit last time, was from Silicon Valley. Yes, that's right. So, media thing. We're talking about millionaires, billionaires dropping in from the sky when they think the world's falling apart. They're probably going to come from someone in the Bay Area, and they're probably going to be connected to that group. So things are lining up for us for the big win this time. Anybody saying, oh, I think you're going to fail? Obviously, you ain't reading the newspaper and you ain't up on current events because things are lining up. I'll stop and leave it there. Hal, take us out.
Marcus, actually, real quick, man, if you're going out tabling, please let me know. Let me know a time and a date, and I'll post it up so people know.
Oh, and the professor had a question. I'm sorry, Hal.
Yes.
May I say one thing real quick related to that Bay Area
One
thing?
moment, Professor.
As the Yes California Bay Area's regional coordinator, I am wholeheartedly committed to attending all of those meetings from now on and taking notes. And so anyone who's not able to get in those meetings from our leadership, if you have any questions, ask me and I will fill you in as absolutely best as possible.
Thank you, Jason. Professor?
Yes, I was going to make the point that Marcus partly did about if Trump dies and then Pence becomes the Republican nominee. Pence is actually, in my opinion, more dangerous than Trump because, I mean, Trump is an opportunist. Pence is a true believer and has been for many years. He is strongly against a woman's right to choose. He's against LGBTQ rights and a bunch of other things. He's really, really right-wing extremist. And so what I'm afraid of is that if Trump dies, that then there will be a sympathy vote and people will say, well, I'll give Pence a chance. So that's a real danger in there, and I think we ought to be aware of that. I want to reiterate what Marcus said about the importance of getting this website up as quickly as possible, even if it isn't complete with all the links or whatever, it needs to be up. We need to be able to refer people to it. And this has got to happen. We're how many days from the election? It's got to happen. So please.
I think he knows that.
Okay. Thank you, Professor.
That's it.
Actually, Hannah has her hand up. Hannah, did you have a final question? Unmute. Hannah, you got to unmute.
Thank you. I just wanted to say, to put a little cautionary note there, that number one is a poll just came out. I think it was NBC News. They're saying that nationally, Biden is now ahead of Trump by 14%. He was only 7% ahead before Trump went to the hospital. And that this is an interesting number. Biden is now tied with Trump among males over 50 years old, which is one of the most critical components of Trump's support. Basically, it seems like Donald Trump got sick, and the whole country knows he's been making very clear, there's no COVID's a hoax. And a lot of people who are maybe thinking of voting for Trump are sort of saying, man, this guy did it to himself. The other thing they're saying is, oh my God, if Donald Trump can get sick, I can get sick. And so that I didn't expect it to have that much of an effect on the election, but clearly the polls are indicating right now it's having a huge effect. That said, the conspiracy nuts are also saying Trump was purposely infected by Democrats or Chinese agents or both. And a lot of the conspiracy guys are all basically they haven't backed down one bit. They are just, spinning out their conspiracy ideas to justify their original position, which is your classic conspiracy theorist type behavior. So, and that includes it's like the Proud Boys and stuff like that. They're still going on the stand by and stand back and stand by, message. They're all talking about locking and loading, and it hasn't changed one bit. So it just means that middle ground is going to be a lot broader, I think. But there's still the extremists out there. So just saying, 30 less than 30 days now of the election, and we'll what happens to Donald Trump? Will he pass away? I don't know. I think it's going to know in about one day. I think in the next 24 hours. I think we're not being told the truth. I think that there are people who are saying, man, we're not being told the truth. And actually, the White House just said it. They said, did you hear that? I'll let close it. I'll give them the last word. Did you hear that? The press secretary, she said, oh, it's common to lie about medical information. Really? So, love you, everybody. And let's cut the video.
Hey, real quick.
There you go, Shank.
Real quick. So Marcus was mentioning about the interviews. Guys, listen or read the interviews, because what they ask us is what you're gonna find people asking you on the streets as well. What about our military? What about our water? What about this? All that comes up on these interviews. So if you want a good way of answering back, check out those interviews. Just to say, California's got the highest poverty level. We've got the biggest income inequality, highest housing prices. And I'm like, and I just said to him, compared to whom?
Mm-hmm.
Who are you comparing us to? And he couldn't answer because he was going to say another state, which would not compare to $3 trillion. So the fact that we're a gigantic state, that we're a nation already on its own, you can deflect most of the questions to that and use that as your answer. Just FYI, check out the interviews, and it's got good responses to the questions you're going to come up when you're petitioning. And if you're petitioning, please let me know where you're going to be and what time, and I'll post it up. And that's all I got. Thanks, Al.
Good point.
Can you give the addresses of those interviews and send those out by emails?
I think they already have been, but yeah, I mean, I could do that.
We can repost them. If that's all, I'd like to thank everyone for coming. final thought on this for everyone. Please keep in mind, keep your head in the game, keep your head out of the weeds. It doesn't matter who wins the election. It doesn't matter if Trump lives or dies. None of this matters because none of that is going to change the simple answer to the big question. And that is, they say, well, what happens if California leaves? It's like, the real question is, what happens if California stays?
Yeah.
What happens if California stays? America's still $27 trillion in debt. We still have the most divided socio-political structure we've had in centuries. We still have a government that is completely dysfunctional. We still can't take care of our people, can't provide health care, can't take care of sick people, can't keep kids out of cages, can't. Keep that in mind. It doesn't matter who's in charge. It doesn't matter what they say on MSNBC. It doesn't matter what they say on Fox News. America will be America tomorrow, and California shouldn't be part of it anymore. Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Excellent, Hal. Write that up. Excellent.
Thank everyone for coming. It's good to see everyone. We will have casual discussions offline. Recording ending for this Sunday's conference.